point and generating points from the note. Okay. And Uddeshwar is improvement is necessary for everyone, even for teachers. Okay. So Uddeshwar thought that I collected all these things so that I use this feedback to improve my teaching. Okay. And Anku writes to understand the perspective differences. Okay. Okay. Yes. So when I understand that when I'm asking you, I'm trying to understand your point of view. So it's again a kind of feedback. So thank you for your responses. Okay, there is one more response. Wait. Point-wise note making makes it easy to access and readable. Okay, then the reason for which I made the notes. Okay, but then in the first class, why I spent 2 hours? I'm happy that you responded. Wait. So I'll just quickly go back to the last class and I'll just revise the questions that I asked you. Okay. These are the questions I asked. Okay, Shayantan, to know the ability to understand interactions and respond in proper way. Exactly. That's true. Because I keep on doing these activities to know that whether students are understanding the instruction. True. I mean, do you understand that everyone talked about different points and all of them are correct. So just a quick revision that these are the questions I asked you. What is or was your favorite subject? Why did you start liking that subject? And list of features of BTech course you don't like. List of characteristics of a teacher you like. What are the characteristics that make a teacher a good teacher? It's the same question in different phrasing. And second one is the list the characteristics of a class you don't like. What makes a class course a disliked class or a disliked course? And for that, ITA students said, wait. Okay, so there are also reasons that you have mentioned. I conducted this activity to get feedback from you. Okay, that's the first purpose. Because, in a class, I generally get feedback from your gestures, from your participation. But here, I can't see you. And participation is also not a very solid pointer because there are students who wants to participate, but then there are audio problems and all. So I thought that maybe if I'm on track, that's one thing. So it's a kind of, we almost have covered half of the syllabus. So before I move to the next part, I thought that I can just ask the students if they are on track. And also this time and again, this is a kind of reality check, for the teacher. Because, when students say that they don't like these things, and time and again students are saying that they are afraid to ask questions. They don't like those teachers who are too strict and they are afraid to ask questions. And many times students say that they started hating a subject because the teacher did not teach properly. So you understand what responsibility you have on you. Because, if you don't teach well, it's not only that the class is spoiled, it's the class is wasted. It's also the attitude of the student towards the subject that's also kind of damaged. So you understand that how your lecture, how your teaching is important. Okay, so I conducted the activity for this. There is another reason for which I conducted the activity. I collected all the responses. I maintained a document. Okay, with proper structured document. I spent hours to create the document. I'll share the document with you at the end of maybe at the end of the week or something. So that is another purpose for this. We have presentation in our syllabus, and every lecture is a presentation. If you explain something to someone, even that is a presentation. So every lecture is a presentation. So in a way, you all have attended many presentations in the form of lecture, in the form of class lecture, in the form of delivery from the teachers. And I shared all these points, that this politeness, humbleness, proper knowledge of the subject, understanding student mentality, and command over communication skill. These are good qualities of a teacher as much as these are important qualities of a presenter. The way you have judged your teacher is the same way your audience will judge you as a presenter. You have to be humble as a presenter. You have to be polite as a presenter. You have to have a good time management. You have to be punctual. You need to have good command over the subject. You should have good communication skill to share your knowledge. You should be structured, okay? And you should not be too authoritative that the audience is scared to ask you questions. These are exactly these points that you have shared as feedback. And I realized that you are just on track to understand what is a good presentation and what is a bad presentation. Okay, so the purpose of the activity was to give you the confidence that you are exactly on track to understand what is a good presentation and what is a bad presentation. So I'll just write it in the chat box. So type the purpose. So the second purpose, the first purpose is to get the feedback so that I'm doing it right or not. And as I told you, every feedback is a kind of mirror. Okay, you see yourself. And the second purpose of the activity is to give you confidence that you are right on track in your understanding of a good teacher or a presenter or a good teaching or good presentation. Okay, every teacher is a presenter and every teaching, every lecture is a presentation. Okay, not necessarily every presentation will have PPT, not necessarily that every presentation will have some handout or something like that. Okay, there are many speakers, there are many presenters who present without any PPTs or any slides. Okay, so most of our teachings are like that. So now you can quickly scroll up. Okay, I'll just quickly scroll up and check, just quickly scroll up at 136. Okay, uh, this is what the student wrote: proper knowledge about the subject. Okay, so to give, I'll just elaborate on the same points that you have given. A proper knowledge about the subject. Okay, to deliver something you need to possess that. Okay, I mean, you can't befool your audience. Do you understand that there are 50-60 people sitting in front of you, or even if there are 10-15 people sitting in front of you, they are all knowledgeable. Okay, and you should not take your audience for granted. In one of the classes, one student wrote that the teacher should not take the students for granted. It's the same for the presenter as well. You should not take your audience for granted that I'll say something, they won't understand anything. Okay, I came without preparation and I delivered something, they clapped. Don't take your audience for granted. Okay, you should have good knowledge. Okay, humbleness, politeness, These are very, very important qualities. The way you have mentioned that these are the important qualities of a teacher, these are the important qualities of a presenter as well. So you should come prepared with the sound knowledge of the topic. Okay, once you know the topic, you should gather as much knowledge as possible, because even after the presentations, audience asks you question, and you should have good knowledge base to answer as many questions as possible. It's possible that you don't know that the answer to one particular question that came from the audience. Then you say that I don't know the answer, I'll find the answer and I'll get back to you. Okay, but then good command over language, good command over this topic is something that you can't substitute with anything else. Okay, and the second thing is that understandable lecture delivery. Okay, the thing is that at the end of the day, you have to you are trying to explain it to your audience. Okay, so if your audience does not understand it, the entire purpose is lost. Okay, understanding is the first key to deliver any presentation. If they don't understand, there is absolutely no point. And then audible voice, yes, you are present there mainly through your voice. Okay, the first, you are also physically present, but then say for example, when I'm conducting online class, many a time I keep my video off. Okay, so during that time I'm presented only through my voice. So you as a presenter, your voice is your asset. Okay, it's not only the audibility, it's also how you modulate that voice. Okay, sometimes you raise your voice, sometimes you slow down, sometimes you put emphasis on a certain word. Okay, sometimes you pause. Okay, even during class you might have seen that the teachers sometimes pause. Okay, and then they say something important. Okay, so this pause, all these pauses are very, very strategic. When you are saying something and then you pause and then you say something, naturally it means that you are going to say something very important. Okay, so the audience gets little alert when you pause. Okay, they understand that, okay, you are going to say something. You must have seen many speakers, they say that listen, and then there are pause for 2-3 seconds and then they start. Okay, so this pause, these silences are very, very strategic. Okay, and it's not only the audibility of the voice, it's also the modulation. Okay, the pitch, the accent, the stress, the pauses, everything. And approachable for doubts. Okay, the thing is that if your audience is so scared of you, if they are not comfortable with your presence, and if they are not comfortable with your delivery, they will, your job becomes actually difficult. Okay, to get their attention. And then and come to the next point. Okay, excellent teaching methodology. Okay, the word teaching is there because you talked about teaching. Okay, if I convert it to presentation, it will be excellent presentation methodology. Okay, there are methodology. Okay, we will talk about it, that what you should do first. Okay, what are the background research you should do before you start any presentation. And then student interaction, time and again students have mentioned, not only with this class, even for other classes, students have mentioned that student interaction is very, very important for a teacher. Same is for the presenter. Audience interaction. Okay, if you have 1 hour and in that 1 hour only you spoke, and after a point of time you will understand that you are losing your audience, because they are kind of, you have to invent something, you have to do something to involve your audience. Punctuality, you should be on time on the day of the presentation. And then the next point is that ability to develop relationship with their students. It's the same as student ability to stay calm in most of the situations, and even during presentation. I guess who said it, I don't remember, either in your class or in maybe in some other classes. The student was giving some, they were conducting some science exhibition, and a few students came and they asked a few questions just to trouble. Sometimes audience will do that. Okay, sometimes they want to trouble you, or maybe they want to show their own knowledge. they themselves know the answer, but then still they will ask to impress the other people present there. Okay, so during such situation you should not get irritated. Okay, you should understand the human psychology, that why that person is boasting about his or her knowledge, because he or she wants to get the limelight. Okay, he or she wants to get create a kind of good impression. Okay, so you should not make fun, you should not get irritated. Okay, you should handle it with all calmness and with all grace. Okay, oh, you said that. Okay, I understand, thank you for your answer, something like that. And it's about to stay calm. Okay, people will challenge your views, people will criticize you from the audience. So the best way to handle such situation is to stay calm and maintain it with grace. Okay, just say thank you. Politeness, humbleness, these 2 points time and again. The politeness and student interaction, I guess these are the 2 points which recurred time and again. Okay, you should be polite. Okay, because the presenter is there because of the audience. If the audience is not there, there is no point of the presenter standing there. Okay, so they should understand it. Okay, I am here, the presenter is there for the audience. Okay, so that politeness should be there. But then politeness does not mean that you should be timid. Okay, you should be surrendering. No, not like that. Okay, you can be polite, at the same time you can be on your ground and you can be assertive. Proper knowledge of the particular syllabus, in that case it will be topic. Knowledge about student mentality, their weakness and strength. Okay, this we will talk about in greater detail when we actually talk about presentation. But then here what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to draw a parallel between teaching and presentation, and between teacher and presenter. Okay, knowledge about student mentality, it is the same as a knowledge about audience mentality. If it is a good, very important presentation, generally for background research, what we do is that we try to know what kind of people will be there in the audience, what is their age, what is their exposure, what kind of things that they like. So something like that. Say for example, if I'm if I'm teaching you how to write a CV, I will use example mostly from software or from engineering field. Okay, but then if I teach CV to Assam University students, but then these students are players. Okay, I'll change my example. Okay, imagine that all of them are students, all of them are Assam University, maybe all of them are of third semester, but then one belongs to engineering stream, the others, they might be from engineering, they might be from some other field, but then all of them are players. But then if they are players, maybe I'll use examples from their field. So it's very important to know the status, the exposure, the mentality of your audience. And then friendly relationship with the student, in this case it should be audience. Ability to read the mind of the student, ability to read the mind of the audience, and knows the limit of frankness one should maintain. And dedication towards the subject, ability to apprehend the loss of attention of audience and address it promptly. Even while giving presentation, you understand that slowly you are losing your audience. You will see that maybe one person at the corner is little restless, and then another person will start checking their mobile, and then there is two more people at the back who have started talking, and then there is one person sitting at the front, and he or she has started playing with the pen. Okay, so these are the indicators that you are losing your audience one by one. You should take it very, very seriously. Okay, you should do something. You should involve your audience in some way or the other, so that you get back them. Okay, because not every presentation you will have second chance. For teachers, we have second chance. If one class goes bad, we know that we will try to compensate in the next class. But then this is not the case with all the presentations. Sometimes it's a once in a lifetime kind of presentation. It's a kind of presentation maybe that happens once in a year or something like that. So there you don't have the opportunity, you don't have the option of the second time. So you should take this 15 minutes or half an hour time of presentation very, very seriously. You should get these indications that you are losing your audience, and you will see that audience, they are not looking at you. You will get these markers, and the moment you get these markers, you should try to get back your audience. And addresses it promptly, ability to simplify complex concepts, and strong communication skills, student connect, motivating, ability to generate interest towards the subject. As I told you, many students say that I asked you one question, why did you start liking one subject? Many students say, not many, few students say that they started liking the subject because they got a good teacher. Okay, so that's the power of the teacher, that's the power of the presenter. Okay, if you give good presentation, your audience will take interest in that particular area. Okay, say for example, you are working in a company, and your company has developed a new software. Okay, a kind of a game, a mobile game. Okay, a game that you can play using your mobile, and you want to sell that game to college students. So you have to give one demonstration in front of your college, in front of a group of students, so that they find it very interesting and they buy that game. Okay, so do you understand? It's a once in a lifetime kind of presentation. If you present it in a very nice way, if you make it very attractive, if you make it tempting, people will buy your game, else people won't buy. So you should have that ability to generate interest. Okay, so that people gets motivated. You should have the ability to pursue someone to buy that game, mobile game. This is the way you generate. This is why generating interest in one particular topic, or maybe one particular product, or one particular ideology is very important. And motivate towards the subject, good subject knowledge and experience, kind-hearted and well-disciplined, enjoys teaching, okay, sorry. Yes, enjoys teaching. If you are scared, if you are not comfortable with the presentation, your students won't be comfortable with the presentation, your audience won't be comfortable. If you are shaky, your audience will be shaky. If you are sincere, your audience will be sincere. You can understand it. That's the reason I gave you this example of teaching and teacher. You understand it very well. I have read your feedback thoroughly. I understand that you understand very well who is a good teacher and who is not a good teacher, who as a teacher is very dedicated, who as a teacher is very sincere, and who is not. You understand it very, very well, very well, because I can understand that it's been 14 years that you have been attending lectures, starting from standard 1. So by now, after this 12, 14 years, you have developed that ability to judge who is a good teacher, who is a sincere teacher, who is a dedicated teacher, and who is just finishing the syllabus for the sake of it. Okay, who is just finishing it on paper, but then actuality it's not done properly. So that's it. Okay, so if many a time it happens is that if the teacher is sincere, we feel like that we should put effort. We also should put effort because the teacher is doing so much. If the teacher is very dedicated, we feel like that we too should be dedicated. Okay, it works as a kind of mirror, in the classroom. If the presenter is very energetic, the class is energetic, the audience is energetic. You must have seen that. If the teacher is very lazy kind of person, the class naturally becomes lazy. If the teacher is energetic, the class is energetic. If the teacher is sincere and dedicated, the class is sincere and dedicated. So is with the presenter, any presenter for that matter. If the presenter is energetic, that energy will spread across the audience. And if the presenter is very well disciplined, and it shows that he has rehearsed well, or maybe he has practiced very well, he is very serious about the presentation, it's very evident. The way you have judged your teacher, the audience will judge you. The audience too will understand, okay, yes, this presenter has worked so hard, and we should pay attention to whatever he or she is saying. Okay, so this is the reason this is the second reason, this is the second purpose of conducting conducting that activity. And I also asked you, when you said that, I also asked you, did you explain something to someone, or anything? In response to that, you said that, yes, you did. Okay, and I also asked to some of you, when you explained, when you talked about that at what standard. Some of you said that you explained a concept to your classmates. Some of you said that you taught something to small kids, and then some of you said that you explained something to your school juniors. And I also asked you, that what was your experience. Okay, and then some of you said that, they are, they're more interested in activities than their interest to listen something. Or some students say that, yeah, they listen because they are classmates, but they also make fun, but then because they are classmates. Okay, so I want all of you to remember your experience as a presenter. All these things are presentations. When you are teaching to a small kid, it's a presentation. When you are explaining something to your school junior, is a presentation. When you are explaining a concept to your classmates, is a presentation. It's a 5 minutes presentation. It's an informal presentation, but then it still is a presentation. And you should take all this presentation as a kind of practice. Okay, which worked. Okay, you must have seen that, if you explain it in this way, maybe your audience reacts in a better way, or maybe they are much more involved. So in the last class, we did an activity on teaching and about teacher. And in this class, I tried to draw a parallel between teaching and presentation, and teacher and presenter. Okay, and do you agree to this, that uh, you know uh, there is a parallel? Do you believe that, as a presenter, you should always try to imitate the best teachers you had? No, you must have attended many lectures. Okay, many, starting from school days. You know that some teachers are very organized. That's the reason uh, students pay attention. Some teachers have good command of a language. That's the reason students pay attention. Some teachers actually, they make some humorous comments, and that's the reason students make. I mean, they're very happy attending the classes. So, what we generally tell students is that when giving presentation, always try to imitate your best teachers. Okay, most of our learning happen through imitation. Okay, so even for presentation, that's true about presentation as well. If you want to be a good presenter, keep in mind the best presentations that you attended, and at this level, the best presentations might come in the form of teaching. Okay, so think about your best teachers. What made them best teachers? That's the reason I asked you this question, so that you think hard and you come up with qualities. And you talked about these qualities, and I have listed those qualities. Some of the qualities I have listed, and I have told you that these are the exact qualities of a good presenter. So, do you believe that this is the way you can be a good presenter, by imitating? First thing is that, do you believe that? Do you agree to this, that there is a parallel between teaching and presentation, of teacher or presenter? If you don't agree, you can tell me. There is a question in the chat box. Do you believe that there is a parallel between a presenter and a teacher? If you don't agree, you can tell me. Anyone. If you don't agree to this, you can tell me. Yes, and then there is one more question. In continuation with the previous question, do you believe that the good qualities of a teacher overlaps with the good qualities of a presenter? Okay, Udesha, as you yourself pointed out, yes, there is a parallel to a certain extent. Okay, yes, I pointed out, but then my question is that do you agree to this? Because you have the liberty to disagree. You might not agree. This is my belief, which I shared. So if you don't share, if you disagree, it's fine. It's fine. If you think that no, these are the two very different things, and Udesha, to a certain extent, okay. And where they differ, Uddesha, can you use your microphone? You have said that to a certain extent. So where do they differ? How do they differ?
Ma'am, when you are teaching, your main goal is to make someone learn which you already know. But in presentation, there can be something like you are being judged by someone else, where they already know what you are asked to explain. Or another thing is that in teaching, as you yourself pointed out, you can have many opportunities. So uh, if you do something wrong at one point, you can do.
Yes,
But
yes.
in presentation, when you are like you have a business plan and you are explaining in front of some investors, you have only one chance.
Yeah, yeah. So in teaching, I agree to this, that in teaching there can be second chance, but then for some presentations, once in a lifetime, it can be once in a lifetime thing. So that is the first thing. And I forgot your first point. Your first point was.
Then sometimes in a presentation you are being judged by someone.
Okay, in a presentation you are being judged by someone. Okay, but then not always, not always. Say for example, if we conduct a presentation in a class, then probably I will judge you because we are doing the presentation as part of the class. But then in most of the other things, it's not that people will judge you. Many a time you are doing it in front of people who want to learn something from you. Okay, it's not always judgment. And if you think about judgment, even students judge teacher. Okay, your audience will judge you, be it student, be it your customer, be it your client, anyone. They will judge you. They will invariably judge you. See, even the students judge teachers, isn't it? So this judgment part will be there.
I get it.
Yeah. So this judgment part will be there. They see. Remember the last class, the way students praise teacher and the way students criticize teacher. So it's the judgment will be there. Okay. The thing is that forget about presentation of this show. If you are talking to anyone, both people on the both side of the conversation, we judge each other, isn't it? If you are talking to a stranger, the stranger will judge you. If you are talking to your friend, they will judge you. This judgment part will be there. Okay, don't get panic about the judgment part. Okay, just do your job sincerely. Be it teacher, be it a presenter, be it a friend, be it a stranger. Okay, this judgment part will be there. And yes, for teaching you get several chances to improve. But then some presentations are high profile presentations. Okay, for this you have to take it very, very seriously. Okay, so most of the students have said that the good qualities of a teacher overlaps with the good qualities of a presenter. And as I told you that I have already created one document with your feedback. Okay, so on the first hand side there are your statements, and then in the second column there are just point format of that statements in teaching, and then third column it's in terms of presentation. So how the second column is different from the third column? Presenter in front instead of teacher, presentation in front of teaching, topic instead of syllabus, something like that. So I'll share it with you and you will understand that what a brilliant judge you are of a presenter. So you already know what is a good presentation and what is a bad presentation. So what will I do is that I'll just you already know about it. Okay, what I'll do is that I'll just structure my lecture and I'll try to together we will try to find out how to be a good presenter. Okay, so we know that these are the qualities of a good presenter, but then maybe we can try to learn from each other how to be a good presenter. Okay, so what the list is already ready, so we should just try to know how to achieve that list. Okay, and some of the points of the list I have already discussed. So this class, from now onwards, I'm going to start the third topic of our syllabus, that is presentation. Okay. Yes. So for every class, I generally give you uh, an outline of my lecture, isn't it? For CV, I told you that we learn about components, and then we learn about formatting, and then we learn about finishing. So in this class, for presentation, this is my discussion outline. Okay, this is the way I'm going to structure my discussion or lecture or whatever you want to say. So it's about planning. Okay, if you know that you have a presentation, what are the things you should consider while planning? Okay, so you need certain inputs. Okay, you need certain information. Okay, so planning will take care of that, and designing. And once you have the information, you start designing your presentation, and then finally the delivery. Okay, so this is the way it happens. Okay, this is just the chronological order, that you plan first, that based on certain inputs, you collect those inputs and you plan it, and then you actually design it. Okay, like preparing the PPTs, preparing your speech. Okay, this is what you do, and then what you exactly do during your delivery. So this is the way I'm going to discuss it. So wait. So can you tell me what are the things we should consider in planning? We are starting the first component. Okay, planning. So what we should do for planning? Selecting the topic. Yes, selecting the topic. And what are the things? Rakesh's time management. Okay, good. Areas to be covered. Okay, and what to say and what not to say. Exactly, exactly. This is very important to decide what not to say. Structuring the entire presentation. Okay, very good. Okay. If you are typing, keep on typing and post, and I'll just scroll up and check how students have responded. Selecting the topic. Saurav, you are lucky if you have the opportunity to select the topic, but then in most of the cases you are given one topic, you don't select it. At times you select the topic. Okay, but then in most of the cases you don't select the topic selects you. Okay, say for example I am teaching you this. I did not decide it. Okay, it's kind of pre-decided. Okay, I already got a syllabus, and I was told that you have to explain these components of the syllabus. Okay, so in a way, I did not select the topic. And as I told you, that game, that mobile game. Okay, you will know that your team has developed one game to be played in mobile, using mobile, and you have to give one presentation. So even for that situation you are not selecting the topic. So keeping in mind that in a very rare occasion you select the topic. It's mostly the other way around, the topic selects you. Okay, it's already a pre-decided topic and you are given that topic. and you have to give presentation on that. Okay, and then Rakesh's time management, very important, very very important. You can talk about on something for 5 minutes, and you can talk about something for say 5 hours. Formal letter can be taught in 1 hour. Formal letter I taught for 10 hours. Both can be done. So you should know how much time you have, so that you can divide your time accordingly. So time management is very very important. Anjali writes, planning the topic, areas to be covered. Okay, yes. So what are the things we are going to cover? Okay, to a large extent it depends on the time and the audience, isn't it? If you are explaining something, um, um, say if you are explaining rainbow to first standard students for 1 hour, and if you are explaining rainbow to 12th standard students for 1 hour, so the time is the same, the topic is the same, but then the audience is different. So you don't include so much of scientific explanation when you are teaching to first standard students. So areas to be covered is very very important. And how we decide it, we keep in mind the time, how much time we have. Do I have 5 minutes to explain, or I have 5 hours? Am I addressing first standard students, or am I addressing 12th standard students? Uddeshu says target audiences knowledge, very very important. It's the same thing that I explained. Okay, target audiences knowledge. It's not that they are college student, which stream, okay, what is their area, which area they are coming from, how much exposure they have. Okay, it's very important, because your job is to add to that existing knowledge. Okay, very well put, Uddesha. So you should know, if you want to add something, if you want to increase something, you need to know what already is there. Okay, so you should know how much knowledge that audience might have. Okay, you can't get a very concrete idea, because it's possible that you are meeting the audience for the first time. So what you can do is that you can talk to the organizers, or maybe you can try to gather information about the audience. What is their age, what is the socio-cultural background that they come from, what is the average education of that audience. Okay, what is that they take interest in, so that you can include examples from their area of interest. Okay, so if you want to uh, add something to your audience's knowledge base, if you want to make your presentation interesting, you should know the audience's knowledge, so that you are not repetitive, or maybe there is a huge gap between what the audience knows and what you are delivering. Okay, so there should be a kind of balance between these two, that it's not repetitive, or maybe it's too far-fetched from what they already know. Brajnandan says what to say and what not to say. Yes, and you should always be very careful about controversial things. Okay, be very very careful about your jokes. Okay, each joke generally harms someone, generally target someone. You should be very very, it's not that you can't crack jokes, you can crack jokes. It's very good quality to include humor, but then be very careful about this. Okay, because people many a time take jokes very seriously, because if you read any joke, you will understand that they target someone, or they target a group of people. Okay, when we read this Sardarji jokes, we target that group of people. When we make fun of engineering students, we are targeting that group of people. Okay, when we are making fun of women, we are making fun of them. Okay, so be very careful about it. Okay, but then it's a good thing to add humor. What generally we do is that we make fun of ourselves. Okay, that's the safest you can do. Rajosh is structuring the entire presentation. Exactly. You might have, I don't know whether you have listened to some good presentations. I'll share a few links. I will share a few YouTube links, okay, of important talks or something. you won't believe the time that they have spent to prepare for that talk. Okay, there is a very famous series, TED Talks. Okay, if you wish, you can check in YouTube's. It's there in the chat box. TED Talks. Okay, so what they do is that these organizers find uh, any eminent people, any knowledgeable person from any area, and then they give that person a topic, and that person delivers a 15 minutes or half an hour talk. Okay, so these TED Talks are kind of 15-minute or half an hour or maybe little lengthy talks. So imagine that take an average, take it 30 minutes. So how much time do you think this people who give speech at TED Talks prepare for? How much time they spend for a 30 minutes speech? Any idea? So if I ask, if the organizers ask you to give a 30-minute speech, how much time you will ask them for preparation? I hope my question is clear. A day, okay, Ankush says a day, okay, maybe a week or two, okay, 2-3 days, okay, for a 30-minute speech, okay. Deep 1 month for TED Talks, okay, 30 hours. Saurabh says depends on the person. No, the thing is that they choose one of the most knowledgeable person. Okay, so they already have the knowledge. It's not that they pick up random people. Okay, if they want to deliver a lecture on black hole, they will find one of the 5 most eminent scientists of black hole. So knowledge base is not a problem. So they pick up people who are already knowledgeable. So knowledge is not a problem. 12 hours, Shaunak, for half an hour speech. Okay, they prepare for 6 months. 6 months. For a 30-minute speech. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable because if I'll share a few links of those talks, you will understand. They look so comfortable. You will feel like he's so spontaneous. He's so fluent. But then behind this spontaneity, you can't imagine the amount of planning and the amount of structuring there is. Say, for example, you take this mobile. Okay, a mobile, you can hold it in one hand, isn't it? And you use just one single finger to type. We use just thumb to type. But imagine how many years of hard work of so many people which the mobile is the outcome of. Okay, so it's something like that. You are just seeing the final phase, the final 30 minutes. But these people prepare for 6 months, 12 hours, 1 month, one day. No, it's 6 months. It's 6 months. You might think that they are speaking so spontaneously. They are cracking jokes, they're interacting. Everything is scripted. They practice it so many times that they memorize it. The first 3 months, what they do is that they prepare the script. You might feel that they are speaking spontaneously. It's not spontaneous. They actually write it word by word. Okay, and so many times they rehearse, and after 3 months of rehearsal, they kind of automatically memorize it. There is no question of forgetting because you can't forget it because in the audience, TED Talks are most viewed YouTube talks. You will see that they are viewed by millions and millions of people all over the world, time and again. Okay, because once it's part of internet, it's there. So there is nothing like going back. There is nothing like second chance, as Uddesho pointed it out. Okay, so there is nothing like second chance. There is nothing like deleting it. Even if you delete it, it will be there in somebody's hard disk, isn't it? So that is the final thing, and the final thing should be close to perfect, if not perfect. So there is nothing that they leave anything. Okay, so before the actual speech there are several rounds of mock speech. Okay, there will be experts from the field who will sit in the audience, they will give feedback, and then based on the feedback they will revise the talk, they will again plan, and all this goes on for 6 months. And that's how it's that's how terrible it is. And what I can say about my teaching is that when you see me teaching for 2 hours, uh, I generally spend uh, on average 6 hours for 2 hours class. Okay, where I know that I know the students. Okay, so I have kind of confidence about my audience, and I am confident about my knowledge, and I know that there is probably a second chance, so that also gives you some kind of comfort, some kind of relaxation. And even after all these things, for a 2 hours class, on average I spent 6 to 8 hours. So what might seem as a finished product, there is actually a history of hard work behind it. Okay, and how much ever casual the talks seem, they are generally very planned, and they are rehearsed, they are recorded, and then they are written down, they are corrected. Okay, and that's how it happens. And yes, I guess I was reading Rajoshi's structuring the entire presentation. It's not only structuring, Rajoshi, the very important talks, people generally write down the entire speech. You imagine the people who deliver TED talks, they are fluent in English. English is their mother tongue. And even after that, they write down the entire speech word by word, and they practice it so many times that it's kind of memorized in their head. Sunil writes, repeat everything about the topic, that the topic we selected. Yes, that's the first thing you should do. Okay, you should first very clearly say that today we are going to talk about this, and this is my structure of delivery, so that people have some kind of clarity. It's something like, the thing is that what you are going to deliver. Your audience is clueless about what is going on, so it's very important that you give them a kind of roadmap. Okay, you might have seen that it's for any planning, it's for any program. When you go to attend any program, if you have better knowledge about the schedule of the program, you will understand that you participate better, because you know that you have a kind of roadmap. You feel confident, you know that this is what it's going to come. That what is happening, I don't understand why there is sudden shift, what is happening. So you already have some kind of clarity, so you are better presenter. If sorry, you are better participant. You are a better participant, and you are involved in that process of presentation. Deciding how to deliver the topic. Yes, like, whether you are going to tell a story, whether you are going to show some charts, or maybe whether you are going to take a vote, or maybe a survey at the beginning of it, whether you are going to discuss it as a problem solution method, or you are going to discuss it in the chronological method. Say for example, I ask you to give a presentation on gravity to 10th standard people. Okay, so you can present it in the form of a problem solution method. Say for example, you give them certain problems where the explanation is gravity. Okay, so you can do this, or maybe you can present it in chronological form. You can start it, what who first talked about gravity, and who challenged it, who supported it, how the idea changed, who are the scientists who explained it. So it's a kind of chronological method. Okay, so deciding how to deliver the topic, and then yes, so these were your responses for planning. Okay, so I'll just put the same thing in a little structured way. Okay, so for the first thing that you should know is that what's the purpose of the presentation. Okay, what's the objective? What is the key points? What is the main message that my audience will take? Okay, so at the end of the day, my students will be able to write a formal letter. That is my key objective. At the end of the day, the audience will feel tempted to buy my software. That's the objective. What is the objective? Why am I doing it? Okay, I am there only to enhance their knowledge. I am there to train them for a realistic situation. I am seeing them as my prospective client. What do I want from them? Okay, what's the purpose? What's the key point of conducting that presentation? So what is the key message? What is the main point for my audience to take away? So you first decide the objective of the presentation. Okay, so based on that, okay, whether you are enlightening people about a software product, or you actually want them to buy it, you want them to subscribe to it, or you want them to tell other people about it. Okay, one good thing is that you can practice it this way. Try to present the purpose or the main points or the key message in 30 seconds or 15 words. Okay, so if you ask me to present the objective of today's class, I'll say that at the end of the day, students will be able to draw parallel between teaching and presentation, and they will also be able to plan a presentation. 30 seconds. So this is what I want. This is what my objective is, that the students will learn about planning. That's my whole objective. So I know that that is the key objective, and whatever I do, whatever, and it's a good attempt to present, to write it down in 15 words or 30 seconds, what your objective is. Okay, and so what's the key point here? The key point here is know the purpose. Why are you delivering the presentation? Okay, at the end of the day, what do you want your audience to do with that presentation, after that presentation? Okay, and then there are a few purpose. Okay, you can, maybe you are trying to inform an audience. Okay, say for example, the students who attended the induction program, towards the beginning of the induction program, HOD sir told you about the course structure, about the exam pattern. Okay, so that's informing you. Okay, so that's so he knew that I'm there, I'm going to inform the students about the curriculum and the exam pattern of this. So that's the reason he probably carried the timetable, he probably carried some exam papers and all these things. So one purpose can be informing your audience, or you can also persuade your audience, persuade or convince your audience to buy something. Okay, that you want your audience to buy this software, or maybe to buy this hardware, something like that. You want to convince your audience about something. you want to buy, you want to sell an object, you can also sell an ideology. Say, for example, listen the speeches of the political leaders. They are also trying to sell, isn't it? But then they are not selling any product. They are selling an ideology. Okay, they are selling something to do with their, political principle. So that's how they are trying to convince you. When the political leader is delivering a speech, standing on a dais before the election, he is actually selling his political principle. He is selling his ethics. He is selling an idea. So even that can be persuade an audience. Okay, so even that is a presentation. Or you can entertain an audience. Okay, say for example, it's possible that there is one seminar going on, and in between one seminar there is a very humorous talk by someone. Okay, so that's an entertainment. Okay, you are speaking, you are generally talking about very casual topics, not always cracking jokes, but then it's mostly about entertaining. So even that can be one objective or maybe one purpose. Say, for example, you might have seen that many celebrities deliver certain speeches. Okay, these are mainly for entertainment purpose. Okay, you can in general speak on any particular occasion. Say, for example, special occasion, say, for example, Teachers' Day or convocation, or you know or maybe it's the day of your retirement and you are giving a speech. That's also a presentation. Okay, one of your colleagues is leaving the office, so you are delivering a farewell speech. Even that is a presentation. So you are just speaking on a special occasion. You are not informing the audience, you are not persuading the audience to do something, to buy something, you are not also entertaining the audience, you are speaking on a general occasion. You must have seen that those in many marriages, especially Christian marriages, the father delivers a speech. So even that is a kind of presentation. And you can educate an audience. Okay, say for example, whatever I am doing, I'm trying to educate an audience. Or maybe you want to tell people that you should not cut trees. Okay, so on one particular region, people are chopping down trees, and you went there and you wanted to deliver this social message that it's a kind of education purpose. So these are generally, roughly, can be the purpose of your presentation, and you can decide that what exactly you are going to do there with that, because based on that your choice of material will depend. Okay, say for example, if you want to educate an audience, the kind of examples you will share. If you want to entertain that audience, your examples will not be of the same nature, isn't it? When you are persuading an audience, your presentation should be very, very logical. It should be very rational. Okay, because you are pushing someone to buy something, to do something, to act, to commit an act. Okay, so the nature of the speech will be different. So these are generally the purpose, and we generally try to inform or persuade or entertain or speak or educate. So this is the first thing that you should do, that you should try to know what is the purpose of the audience, what is the purpose of the presentation. Okay, so it's 2:50. We will take a 5 minutes break and we'll come back at 2:55. Okay, I know it's a little late for taking break, and because I was discussing all this, so I missed the exact timing. So there is a break for 5 minutes. We are going to get back at 2:55.